random crazy thing that could happen to the team.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good point, man. So as we get ready to wrap this up, let's look at all of the current contracts that are expiring in some fashion with Packer players. Okay, so these are the players that are set for their current contract to expire. I'll explain between unrestricted, restricted, and all that stuff as we go here. Okay, at the top of the list, you got and it's sorted by average annual value right now. Okay, not their projected market value, but what they're making on their current contract average annual value. Quay Walker is at the top of the list. He'll be an unrestricted free agent. Devontae Wyatt is listed as unrestricted free agent, but we picked up the fifth-year option. So he's under contract next year, so just disregard that, okay? Christian Watson, unrestricted free agent. McCole Hardman, John Fitzpatrick, unrestricted. We know like that. Isaiah Simmons, Malik Willis, Sean Ryan, another one we mentioned. Zane Anderson, safety. Christian Welch, Matt Orzik. You got Trey Hill, center. Romeo Dobbs, obviously we talked about him. All right. Let's round out the unrestricted free agents. Kingsley Nibore, we talked about him. Rasheed Walker, we mentioned him. Those are your unrestricted free agents. Is there anybody on that list that we haven't already talked about, Emilio, that you go, might be able to trade something for him?
No, I don't think so. I was going to say Zane, but with him getting hurt or something like that, it's not something that we can specifically do. Honestly, it just kind of surprised me. McColl's 28.4 years old. I mean, he's only a year older than Christian. Then you have, you got Romeo, and we're looking for young guys. Devontae Wyatt, 28.3, with picking up the fifth year. I mean, he might get one contract, and then he'll be mid-30s. I think Goody would try to move from there. So besides Zane, I wouldn't see you'd be able to get anything out of anybody else, really. I kind of want to keep if we're looking at, other people.
Yeah, not so cool. Said get rid of Zane and Welch. And I personally feel like you wouldn't get a draft pick for them. It'd be just a outright cut. I don't think a team would trade a draft pick.
Yeah, like a seventh for Zane.
Yeah, possible, right? Maybe a conditional seventh, like if he makes our roster or if he plays so many snaps. If not, you don't get a darn thing for him, type thing. But yeah, and I would rather have those guys on my practice squad personally. You know what I mean?
Right, because, even if, you wouldn't be able to flip Isaiah Simmons. He hasn't shown enough. He's already been cut from a couple teams. It's not like I can go out and say, hey, we signed him for a milli, and then let me try to flip him for a seventh round. Teams are going to be like, no, I'll just wait and pay him a milli. Yeah,
good point. Joseph in the chat said, it is this discussion on August 20th that sets PTA apart. Great work, guys. Thank you for the kind words, Joseph. I'm glad you see it that way, man. I know some people don't like this type of conversation, but look, there was no practice to report on today, right? Like, hey, let's take a second, back up. What players are potentially tradable? Would we trade them? Do we want to trade them? What are the ramifications in terms of the depth of the roster, all those things? I agree this is the time to have that discussion, but we appreciate you saying that, man. Thank you so much for that. I know there's a lot of Brewers talk out there on Sports Talk right now. It's hard for me to find any Packers talk. It's driving me crazy. And I'm glad the Brewers are doing good. I got a lot of Milwaukee Brewer fans that are friends here, obviously, of the show. And I don't judge anybody for being excited about that. I just get frustrated when you got former Packer players on podcasts and they don't even talk Packers. I'm like, what the hell are we doing?
Every time Brewers comes up on the podcast, I'm like, click. I don't even know what's going on in baseball. You know what I mean? I don't even.
Yeah, and I know it's an exciting time and they're doing great. I followed enough to know what's going on. And if they're on TV, I'll pop it on the TV while we're doing the pod, stuff like that. But, man, I just want to talk. Packers. So, roster building is 365. It is, man, for sure. So, all right. Restricted free agents. Let's talk about them real quick before we wrap up. And we'll also talk about exclusive rights free agents. So, restricted free agency, guys, the best way to look at this is they're going to be back. These players, there's not going to be anybody at a caliber that someone else will come in and try to snatch them away from you. You're going to probably be the one that lands their rights. It's very, very, very rare that a restricted free agent in Green Bay doesn't come back with Green Bay if they want him, if that makes sense. So Dontavion Wicks is a restricted free agent. Aaron Mosby, Daniel Whelan, Isaiah Dunn, Emmanuel Wilson, Bo Melton, those guys, what that tells me is they're going to be back, Emilio. Mm-hmm. They're going to be back, right? The restricted free agent for Dontavion Wicks catches me off guard. I don't understand that. I don't understand how he's a restricted free agent, but maybe it has – I'm sure there's something in the fine print there that makes him. But what that tells me, though, is you're going to have Dontavion Wicks, you're going to have Daniel Whelan, Emmanuel Wilson, and Bo Melton. Those guys are coming back next year. It's happening. You know what I mean? So that's good news.
And then there's everybody there is about 27, right around that age. You bring your punter back. You got Emmanuel Wilson, you got Bo, who's your corner wide receiver, multi-talented, multi-tool. And then, looking down here a little bit further, Chris Brooks, need him. Ben Sims, probably need him. Malik Heath, dog, probably gonna want him. And Brenton Cox Jr. Those are all guys. They're all about 26, 27 years old. Basically, perfect depth for the roster. Already know what you've got in them. Have gotten playing time. Know what it's like in Green Bay. And not crazy price. You wouldn't be breaking the bank really for any of those guys, I don't think.
Right. No, absolutely. And again, that's something that you're going to get you're going to get first dibs on them, essentially. We won't go into all the rules of the restricted free agency, but it's pretty straightforward. I just tell people, if you want them back, you can get them back.
That doesn't get messed up if they go to the practice squad. Am I right? Like if
that's the thing too. When they go to the practice squad and they clear waivers, I want to say something resets to where you can sign them on a futures if they finish the year on the practice squad, and now you basically retain their rights for 3 years. That's what happened to Emmanuel Wilson, if I remember correctly. That's what happened to Brenton Cox Jr., those type of guys.
Gotcha. Yep.
Although Brenton Cox Jr., I don't think he ever went to the practice squad. I think we actually kept him on the 53 the entire time. It definitely applies for people like Malik Heath, guys like that, Ben Sims.
Yep.
Chris Brooks, obviously, coming off the practice squad is probably how it reset to restricted. But then when you get the exclusive rights free agents, it's very, very similar. If you want them back, you can get them back for pennies on a dollar. So, again, the one thing I do want to mention, John Fitzpatrick, unrestricted free agent. Use him up this year, and he's probably going to hit the market and get a little bit of money, I would imagine. If you have to use him at any extent at all, people are going to see, hey, this guy's a pretty good football player. But it's nice to know that you're getting Ben Sims back because he's restricted free agent.
Right.
Exclusive rights free agents. Let's hit them real quick. Messiah Swinson, there's another tight end, right? Kadeem Telford, Sean Clifford, Omar Brown, Jalen Simpson, who they just acquired, Deslin Alexander, James Esther, Kamal Haddon, Julian Hicks, Donovan Jennings, Cornelius Johnson, Johnny Lumpkin, Devontae O'Malley, Kalen King, and Alex Hale. I was hearing some people talk earlier. I want to say it was Pete Doherty of the Green Bay Press-Gazette. Feels really, really confident that Kalen King's making this roster. So that's going to be a guy that maybe he will start to work his way up the depth chart a little bit, Kalen King, but nonetheless, he's exclusive rights free agent as well. So all these guys you could plan on having back if indeed you want to come back.
Yeah. So. And all guys that have shown a little bit of promise, you see a little bit. This is the time to check them out here in the preseason too. Get an eye on them, see what they have. But I like how it's, we're kind of covering our basis anywhere from corners, wide receivers, D-line, edge, all that stuff. I think that the way that they've built this roster kind of long-term really is nice. It's just making sure that we can get those free agents, the ones that we want to stick around. Yeah.
And I will say this about Johnny Lumpkin. I'm pretty sure that's the guy we seen the other day. He was lined up in the H a little bit. So they're seeing Johnny Lumpkin as a little more of a hybrid. If I remember correctly, seeing that in the preseason for sure. Let's see what DJ says here. He says, how do you feel about Bo? Does his spot come down to Sunday, or has he proven enough to be locked on the 53? If it were me making the decision, DJ, I would look at it like I don't think he's necessarily a lock for the roster, but everybody, and I mean everybody else on the face of the planet that's not named Clayton, they think he's an absolute lock. So I got to side with him. He's a lock. Yeah. Emilio, you think, right?
Yeah.
Tim said the same thing.
Yeah, I think he's a lock.
Yeah. Jason Wilde said the same thing. Mark Tauscher said the same thing. Pete Doherty said the same thing. Like, they love this dude, man. He's pretty much a lock.
I think he brings too much. He's too useful of a player, especially looking at when I saw 4 wide receivers walk out to that Colts training camp, injured. It's like, dude, I mean, even if we have to pull through, because at some point we got to bring Christian Watson back on here. And if Bo's not playing a bunch of defense and you still need a guy to run legs at wide receiver and flyer, gunner, all that, you're going to need Bo Melton down the line.
Yeah. Let's go to the questions in the Patreon group here real quick. We kind of neglected this, man. It's been so busy covering training camp and everything. I want to hit these. Bob Noxus, I hope I'm saying that right. I'm wondering if you could compare Clifford and Elgersma. One is going. If Elgersma has upside, I'd say it's time to move on from Clifford. But if he doesn't have the potential to be better than your average QB2, Clifford's experience probably keeps him on the team. I would go Elgersma over Clifford. That's just me personally. Now, here's the thing. You could keep them both on the practice squad if you want to. There ain't nobody that's going to go sign one of these two guys, either of these guys, onto their 53-man roster. And they can't just take them off our practice squad and put them on theirs, right? That's not how they work. So you could keep them both if you want. I don't mind that idea, to be honest with you. But if I had to choose between the two, I'm going Elgersma. Which one would you take, Bill?
I think, I do love Elgersman's upside. I think that would be nice. I still think I'd probably lean on Clifford, though. But my ideal option would be keeping both of them on the practice squad. Then you can get a little bit of look. You can kind of work them both. And I would want to see a little bit more. I would just want to see like a full year from Elgersman, go through how to prep for a game, how to plan for a game, be on the sideline, go through the calls, coaches. I think that Sean's gone through a lot of that and can kind of see things that, Jordan's not able to see when he's in the field right at the moment. Just little key hints and stuff. And the fact that, you have that third option at the relief quarterback now where you can trust that backup guy just to have him ready to go. I think you would just I think you'd rather have them and not need them both than, not take them both.
Watch both of them get cut and us sign some random dude as our practice squad.
It could be, right. We're just way off.
Stuff Goody does, right? AFD in the chat says, I think he has so much more potential than Clifford personally. I think Clifford is better equipped here at this point because he's been in the system, longer. Meaning, he's got a way better grab of the offense because he's been running that scout team for so long. But Elgersma, there's no doubt about it. He's got more talent, no doubt about it, especially arm talent. So, GS in the chat here or in the Patreon group says, what are your thoughts of ESPN's position rankings for the pack? They got the quarterback room at 15th, running back 7th, wide receiver 17th, tight end 15th, offensive line 10th, interior defensive line 21st, edge 27th, off ball 17th, cornerback 27th, safety 2nd, overall the 15th best roster, it looks like. What do you think, Amelia? Let's just pick one position on defense, one position on offense. Start with offense. What position would you like to make a comment on there? Maybe you agree or disagree on.
Yeah, I think quarterback's got to be a little bit higher than 15th. I think Jordan's top 10 easy. I think he's going to show it this year. Hopefully show that he's a top 5 quarterback. And, I want him to get into that Big Four conversation. I think he can with a really good year this year. Yeah. And for defense, they basically gave us a C- on the entire defense except for X. So I don't understand how they got to 15th. But I would say edge is probably the biggest punch in the mouth. You've got a first round pick in Gary, you got a first round pick in LVN, and it's just that they just because they don't have a lot of sacks, that ESPN's upset about it. So I'm not too happy about that.
DJ Schultz, every ESPN stands for every stupid person's news. There you go. I completely agree with it. Yeah, so it's amazing to me that you're 21st in interior defensive line, 27th in edge defender, 17th in off-ball linebacker, 27th in corner, 2nd in safety, right? So outside of the safety room, they're saying you were bottom third of the league, but somehow we finished 2nd in run defense and 5th in pass defense. Somebody make that make sense for me.
You're not allowed to ask those kind of questions, Clay.
Well, we lost Jair Alexander. Jair didn't play, guys. Like, he was not on the field the large majority of the season. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy, man. Crazy. So, anyway, next comment here. Who is this from? I guess that's Andy Monday, right? Or is it? It's not really showing him. Maybe it is Andy.
I think he tagged the link in that. He replied with the link of the article.
Gotcha. Okay. Stacking the best, worst position. Oh, okay. That's the article we just talked about. Got it. Yeah. Andy Monday had an article too from ESPN. It says Barnwell picks 5 NFL teams set to decline who could miss the playoffs entirely. So he just shared the article. Could you promote this article by Bill Barnwell of ESPN? He does a thorough job of digging into teams that will decline this season, including the Lions and Vikings. His analysis is fair. So everybody go check that out. The link is in our Patreon group for questions for the show. Thank you for sharing, Andy.
To the point of Lions and Vikings, falling a little bit and on the decline. Ross Tucker made his NFC North or NFC predictions, and he had the Bears as last in the division. I want to say he had them at 6-10. Vikings third. I want to say at 8-9 or 9-8, and then you had the Lions at 9-8 or 10-6 ish, and then the Packers were first in the division at 11-5 or 11-6. So he picked the Packers to be the NFC North champs. Young team, they're skilled. They got a lot of talent on there. He thinks the Lions are going to take a step back, losing both coordinators. And then the Vikings, you just don't know. You got a rookie quarterback going in, and with the Bears, it's just the Bears. So I mean, we're good there. But I like that. We got a little bit of notice from Ross there on his take.
Got it. Good stuff, man. Got a couple of comments here in the chat that are marked. Let's go rapid fire, wrap this thing up. Deadfish says, found an interesting nugget today. NFC North had a combined record of 45-23. That's a 662 winning percentage last season, the highest combined winning percentage by any division in a season since 1970's merger. So pretty wild statistic there, Emilio, for sure. Again, just showing you that, I know people like to, you didn't perform well in the NFC North. It was arguably one of the most difficult divisions to compete in, according to this statistic by Deadfish, since 1970. I mean, you're talking about a 50-year span there, right? 55-year span.
Yeah.
So.
How many times do you have three teams in a division double-digit wins?
Right. And how many of those games did we lose by one score? You know what I mean? So, and that's with your quarterback battling those injuries and obviously other things going on as well. Missing your number one wide receiver at times, missing your number one corner most of the year, missing your quarterback's mobility and obviously ability to comfortably play under center, which is everything about Matt LaFleur's offense.
Absolutely.
Coach Lynn with a great question here. He says, do you think Green Bay could develop Richardson like we did Willis? When I watched Willis's college tape, what I seen with Willis was I seen accuracy, I seen quick release, I didn't see any pre-snap reading. I felt like he really lacked that. He was very raw in that regard, and he was kind of mediocre post-snap read, but he had the athleticism to make a play while he's sorting that out. The thing that Matt LaFleur really pulled out of him, he was reading defense last year, and he was doing it damn well. Like people make it sound like, well, we just ran the ball heavy and we threw maybe 2 or 3 times here or there. No, there were times he let that thing rip. He hit Jaden Reed. I think it was in Jacksonville on a hell of a dart. He also hit, I believe it was Dontavion Wicks on an out route, or maybe it was Romeo at home out route against, I think it was Indy maybe, if I remember correctly. Whoever it was, his ability to process post-snap really improved. Richardson has shown none of that to this point. So, it's possible, Coach, but I got to be honest with you. If you listen to Malik Willis talk and you see the type of quality person he is, and I hate to say it like this because it sounds like I'm dogging Anthony Richardson like he's a horrible human being. Anthony Richardson's kind of full of himself. He was like that coming out of college. And I know you got to be confident and all that. Malik Willis is one of the most humble dudes you'll ever hear. And I think that matters when you get to the league, man. I really do. It doesn't matter where you were drafted, right? I mean, if you think you've got it all figured out, and I didn't even see the details, but they said Anthony Richardson, agent, released some kind of statement. It was like, Bub, everybody watched you stink up the joint in Indy. If you're releasing a statement like you were unfairly treated in Indy, I mean, I just don't get it. But
because he's one play away from going back as a starter now this year, and if the Colts coaches are on the seat. I mean, they need to win games. They didn't put him in to win games. Richardson needed time, and he needed playing time and reps, because he didn't get a lot in college either. It's not like he played a lot. He played one full year or something like that, and then just kept going. I think it's the footwork. If you're putting him as an archetype, he is a pure runner. Absolutely. So you would have to really kind of dive in. Yeah, he's young. He's 23, 24 years old, but that's an investment. Yeah, if we get rid of Malik and you turn something into that with a pick, and you want to kind of reinvest, and you have a backup on the practice squad that you like, yeah, but then that's when you start walking the line of carrying 3 people. Because if you want Richardson on the roster and to be there every game every week, we don't probably want him as a backup at that moment. I wouldn't want to throw him right into the fire. I'd want to have Clifford or Taylor out there to fill in that spot. So
that's the other thing about Richardson too that really irked me last year. You said it, he's a runner, right? Like that's his superpower is he's physical, he's a big dude, he's athletic, he can run the football. He tapped out on a drive. But I mean, he's literally in the middle of the game. He literally tapped out. Hey guys, I need a breather. The quarterback told the coaches, I need to come off the field and catch my breath. When was the last time you've seen a starting quarterback do that? I know I couldn't. Listen, I know I couldn't run an entire drive, 15-play drive, running the ball 2 or 3 times on the drive. I'm fat, old, Caucasian, and out of shape. You know what I'm saying? Like I am the worst person.
He does on the whitey tighties is what you got, Clay.
This dude looks like a freaking thoroughbred, man. He is built like a tank, and you could tell he takes care of his body. So it's not like he's out of shape and he had to tap out. Why did he tap out? Like you got to have something in you that you dig a little deeper, man. You got to.
I mean, you saw Riley Leonard on that one for the first drive, ran him 10 times in the championship, and then then dude was gassed. But I want you to lay it all on the field for me if we're gonna do something like that. If you're driving, and he was in plus territory too. I'm pretty sure he was on their territory. Like he's just like, no, I'm gonna need one. It's like, who are we calling in as the backup? Do you imagine if Jordan Love was just like, no, timeout. I ran 30 plays. I need a breather. Malik, come in for 3.
Think of Cam Newton. To me, Anthony Richardson is built like Cam Newton.
Right. Yep.
But Cam Newton he won an MVP. That dude when he was at his best, he was damn good. Imagine him in the middle of a drive tapping out. Hey, I need a breather. You're not going to see it happen because he's got that freaking dog in him. He's got that competitor in him. Whether you like Cam Newton or not, you cannot deny the fact that dude, when he was at his best, ain't nobody wanted to play him. I remember the game that Green Bay traveled to Carolina, and they were playing them, and Clay Matthews, they came to the line, and Clay Matthews said, hey, it's that Will, talking about a Will route to Christian McCaffrey. And Cam Newton looked across the line. Mox picked it up. You can find it all over YouTube. He said, oh, you've been watching film, huh? That's cool. Watch this. And he threw the wheel route.
Yeah.
It was like a mini wheel. It was like he broke the wheel off and kind of turned it into a stab route. But, yeah, he was good in this time for sure, man. Grable said Richardson benching himself mid-drive because he was tired last year told me everything I needed to know about that guy, just not the type of dude who was going to lead a locker room. And Grable, to be fair, I think he can fix that. But he's got to acknowledge it and change it. When Pat McAfee called him out because he's a huge Indianapolis Colts fan and supporter and season ticket holder, kind of pouted up about it. He got mad about it. The word got back to Pat that pissed people off in the locker room. That's the other thing too, Emilio. How do you think those other players in that – imagine the offensive lineman who ankles are swole up. This dude's got a bum shoulder. This guy's got a bruised sternum. They're out there they're the ones doing the heavy lifting, let's be honest. Right. And then you look up and see the quarterback who every rule in the book caters to him being protected. You know what I mean? And he's the one who needs a breather. That can't go well in the locker room.
No, then you got to sit down next to the dude, take the pads off after a loss like that. I mean, you're mean mugging that guy, saying, it's going to be one of those the longest yard where the O-line just all turns sideways and O-lays him and just lets him eat the quarterback. He goes, all right, yeah, I deserve that one. Let's move on. I don't know if they're going to move on from something like that.
Yeah, and there's some fair points in here. Like Coach Lynn said, I don't even think Caleb would do that. I know Caleb wouldn't. Caleb's a competitor. Yeah. Caleb Williams, whether you like him or not, you could tell he's got some competitor in him for sure. And then J. Cole makes a great point, too. He says 23 years old, he needs to grow up. That's the other thing, too. He's still young. I was an idiot when I was 23 years old. I'm just telling you right now. So that's why I was saying he can fix it. There's time to fix it. So I'm not totally opposed to what Coach Lynn was saying. Like, could you bring him in and kind of do the same thing we did with Malik? You could, but he's got to make a decision. I got to change some stuff about me. You know what I mean? Deadfish says, when is the cut down date? August 26th. That's correct, sir. August 26th, right on the ticker right now. It's got to be before 4 p.m. Eastern time. Got the rosters down to 53 guys, and then you guys know there'll be a 24-hour period, and then everybody can go start trying to sign their practice squad. And I really enjoy that time because you'll have the 53-man roster set, and all of a sudden 2 or 3 of them will get cut, and they'll replace them with this. You know what I mean? There's a lot of shuffling that goes on there, so it's a fun time for sure. Then Deadfish says tight end higher than 15th. I marked that because I agreed with that on that list. Tucker Kraft, in my opinion, is going to prove that he is definitely a top 10 tight end this year, possibly top 5. Mark my words. I think he's going to make that jump. Joseph Rao in the chat says, do we have an update on X? Is he going to be ready for week 1? Everything, all indicators suggest that he will be ready for week 1. Xavier McKinney will. And I want to say he took the next step in returning this week. He's right on schedule. I think he had his helmet out there doing some rehab stuff and everything. That's a good sign that, all right, get out there in your helmet. Let's do some running around, all that stuff. Remember when Quay did that? Quay came back and Tim had the shots of him on the sideline. He had his helmet on, was working with the trainers, doing individual stuff. So, yeah, Joseph, I feel very confident Xavier McKinney will be back week 1, man, which thank God. So, yeah, if you guys would hit like, hit subscribe here for us. If this was your first time tuning into PTA, we went a little long. We usually keep it to an hour 20. But, man, this was a fun conversation, Amelia. I appreciate you, bub. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, if you guys, like I said, if it's your first time, make sure you click that bell icon so you're notified every time we go live. Also, feel free to support us over at patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. You get extra content over there. We got some fantasy football leagues cranking up. Got a couple more slots left, I believe, in our second league. That's about to fill up. So if you're interested in that, hop in there and get the information. Also, want to give a shout out to United Bates for gifting 10 Packer Fan Total Access memberships today. Thank you for that. Not So Cool says, will you guys post the new 53-man roster? Yeah.
In Patreon, right? We'll have that updated once we get that.
Yeah. That's the other thing I'm planning on doing this year too, is I'm going to do game recaps in the Patreon group as well. So the Monday after the game, I'm going to have everything in there. Box score, quick little rundown of the key plays, that type of thing. When we do Chalk Talk episodes, my plan is the film that I use, the actual video I use on the Telestrator, we'll actually have in Patreon as well. So you'll know, all right, those are the specific plays they broke down.
And then they can go back and watch them again, right?
Correct. So, all right, guys, that's it. Sorry for going over, but, man, we had a bunch of people in here. Thank y'all so much for the kind words in the chat and for supporting us here. The plan is tomorrow's Thursday, so we'll be back tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Central for PTA Live. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world and go back.
Here we go.
Bye, guys.